Start recording so that I don't forget. And then let's go here. So, let's 4. What's the main thing that you wanted from this review?
So the main thing was just trying to find what was going wrong. Most of the time, I'm noticing that my positioning is good. My timing, majority of the time, it was good. Yes, I will say that I did start my engages a bit sooner, but majority of the time, they were always good. It was just then figuring out afterwards what is causing me to fail.
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Try to show some discipline out there.
So if you want to talk about timing, right? Wait. Yeah, I'm at 10 seconds. Let's look at disengagements. And what you think of it.
I think it's good because our hog and our queen are engaged, and Lana doesn't know I'm there. I attack her, and I surprise her.
Sure. What about your positioning?
It's good as well because I came up from an angle they weren't expecting, and I dropped on them.
Sure. Now, if you could nitpick, would you change your positioning slightly? I think the idea is good. I just think that right now where you are has some flaws, mainly cover. So where could you be that provides you better cover while still allowing this exact same play to happen?
Wait. So, what would I change my positioning? I would say that I would possibly go farther in on like the ledge and then fall down on them.
Yeah. This is very good. This helps you close the gap a little bit more, and Genji is very range sensitive. So this can be the difference between just like shooting 1 shuriken at a time and 2 shurikens or even 3, right? So this is a very important difference in damage. This is better cover. It also provides you more flexibility towards like dropping on either side, right? Provide also the cover, and especially because it's vertical cover here and they don't really have good vertical reach. This also helps you with the timing, right? So in case your team decided to, I don't know, just like AFK behind the corners or something, you will not suddenly be 1v5 by walking here, because you would not have to engage in the combat. You could just chill for a long time up here until your team engaged, right? And yeah. Escape path a little bit messy, right? Probably would prefer to lean towards this way. It's faster to escape, right? Better cover. Or if you're gonna escape this way, hugging this corner rather than wide peeking like this, puts in danger for longer. This is good. Very nice. Sure. Overall, good fight. Your hog just feeds. Let's see. No, your hog just feeds on his own. There is nothing here on unlike what you were doing that like I would complain about. So no. You're making a good rotation, try to reach back line. Marking the tracer is fine. just looking for a trade, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Reverse the tide! Time for the reckoning!
Here, our team is also just that, so yeah, just look for trade. Don't think there's any real need to analyze. Unless you want to go over mechanics.
I would say yes, because I am switching over from console to PC.
Sure. Are there any tendencies in your aim that you have noticed? Like, do you flick too much? Like, is your aim jittery, or anything that you would that you think is a weakness that you would like to work on that I should know about?
Well, more or less, I'm trying to smooth my aim out. I had my sensitivity way too high, and I lowered it down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just trying to just smooth it out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it just feels as though I'm getting to the area that I am at, but I can't stay there long enough to get actual value. And value for me, in my mind, is a kill. That's the only thing that is.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
No holding back. We are outnumbered.
Let me actually just watch this a few more times and think about the mechanics.
We are outnumbered.
Yeah, so one thing, this is a habit that even the best genji players in the world have, but it's not a really good habit. Just not really tracking between shots. So for example, on this dash right here, you're gonna be looking at this wall while the Ana is all the way to your right for a while. You don't have to shoot right now. In fact, you can't, right? There's an internal cooldown between shots that you have to wait. So during this time, your crosshair shouldn't be here. Your crosshair should be moving as close to the Ana as possible. So you should be making your life easier, essentially, right? For the moment of the shot. So now you're gonna see that this next shot is super hard because you were so far away. Let me go back and put it in slow motion. Right? You can see that the Ana was far, right? Your crosshair around here, and then you try to get the flick to the Ana, but by this time now the Ana has moved a bit, and you didn't even notice where she moved. So now your crosshair is doing this all over the screen, and it's making it harder for you to actually aim. Now I do believe that here you accidentally melee instead of shooting, instead of just like doing a
That
right
is it.
click melee.
So I have a big question on that. When is it time to actually melee, and then when is it time to just right click? Because I get very confused on
Yeah,
that.
the discussion is perfect because it some people would say that melee is just a finisher, but I disagree. One of the main reasons, right, we were just talking about using the downtime between shots to aim, right, make your aim easier. Look at where your crosshair is gonna be relative to the Ana. Now that you accidentally melee without shooting, look at what is gonna happen to your next shot. Okay? Wasn't that so simple? You accidentally meleeed, which gave you more time to aim. Your crosshair was already close, you just kind of had to follow through with your motion, and then the shot just connects magically. Crazy, I know. Here, look at the distance between your crosshair and the Ana, right? So this shot actually only connects with a single shuriken. 2 of them miss, if not 3. Actually, no, all 3 shurikens missed. All 3 of them are here, right? Why? Because you made the flick harder on yourself, because the flick was big. You didn't take enough time between shots, you weren't trying to track the Ana's movements as much. So in a way, melees can be used to give yourself some extra time to aim without really losing too much damage. You're still gonna be losing damage, right? But it's better than not shooting at all and just waiting until you're ready to shoot, right? So let me get a on the practice range. Okay.
願えば平和は
Move
訪
over
れ
to
よ
a bot that is actually moving. If my crosshair is just permanently on targets, right,
Precision is the way of
I can
the
just
best warrior.
hold the shoot button, right, because it's gonna be accurate. But if for some reason I get off target, right, I'm trying to track and I shouldn't be spamming because then I'm gonna be missing, right? So if for some reason I get confused, right, I like 180 poorly, I should take my time to get my bearings back, look at where my opponents are, and then try to do a small adjustments. So for example, something that's very common that many players make as a mistake is they try to go for this combo immediately. And that's not a very reliable combo because doing a 180 flick is really hard. What is much more reliable is doing something like this. There is a small delay, but I took that delay to confirm where my crosshair landed and see if I needed an adjustment, right? So, if you need to do a big flick, don't do it in one go. You do it to get close and then you do a small adjustment, right? Close, adjustments. Boom,
俺を
simple,
舐めても
right?
らっては困る
And you can apply the same type of idea about just like there's a common phrase here, I believe slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's the phrase. Because you should only really go as fast as you can actually be accurate, right? So focus on being accurate, and then speed will come naturally. And also, the speed at which you can be accurate is preferable to a speed at which you cannot be accurate. You're gonna actually be more deadly in duels that way, right? If it takes you a little bit extra time between shots to confirm, it's much better to do this than like miss half of your shots.
Their fate.
So, you do a combo like this,
Okay.
right? This combo, the great thing about it, right? I am already on target, so I can just shoot before the dash. And then I melee afterwards because now that I have to do a big adjustment, that melee gives me extra time to aim, while still dealing some damage. So in a way that melee is free damage, right? It's not that the melee is nerfing my DPS, it's actually increasing in a way. If you consider this whole accuracy factor, right? So in this combo, this is optimal, arguably. If I'm doing something like this, I should maybe not really melee, or maybe I should do something like dash melee and then shoot, because that melee again gives me more time to aim, right? So you can basically use the melee tactically to help yourself aim. This is something that you're gonna see a lot between like tracers dueling, because the tracers are gonna be blinking all over the place. So making all of these adjustments and being able to get good damage with your clip is sometimes gonna be hard. There's also some clip management with the tracer, right? Because half the time like if she's perma shooting, then half the time she's pending is reloading. So saving some of your clip on tracer gives some more value to the melees, but a lot of the reason why tracers in duels do just like shoot a bit, blink melee, shoot a bit, blink melee, right? They'll do, right? That kind of stuff is because it helps them actually have some more time to aim, track the enemy's movements, and not waste most of their clip, because the enemy tracer just blinked and dodged it, essentially. They're giving themselves time to breathe,
Okay,
time
I
to aim.
see.
平和は訪れよ
So yeah, that's mainly in terms of the melee, but the melee also serves to explain this whole aspect of like being slow to be accurate, and that being actually a good speed for you, right? Go back and
So I have another question. It's with different types of tanks and compositions, because it feels as though I understand understand the dive composition and the brawl composition, but it's the poke that kind of confuses me because I'll go in when they engage, but then it feels as though they're not engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think, well, am I supposed to play the same way or am I supposed to change my playstyle dependent on how they're playing?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, yes, one of the things about poke, quote unquote, is that it doesn't have like a as much of a rhythm to it as other comps. Let's talk about. Also, just real quick, can you hear
Mhm.
me? My latency on Discord is not giving me any warning about like it's just grayed out.
Oh,
So
I can hear you perfectly.
okay, weird. Um, where was I? Oh yeah. So for example, if you think about genji, right? How useful are you when you have your cooldowns versus when you don't?
You're very useful.
And when you don't?
Very useful with the cooldown. And you're not that useful. You have to just
Mm-hmm.
wait until you have your cooldown.
So again, just like this, right? Cooldowns, no
Mhm.
cooldowns, cooldowns, no cooldowns, right? There's a very specific rhythm to it, right? That's tempo, right? Right? Versus maybe a character like
Yep.
Winston that's gonna be more like this, right? Because the bubble is a longer cooldown, right? So the tempo is gonna be more like,
Gonna take a little bit
right?
longer.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, a poke composition, if you think about like a Sigma doesn't really have these big cooldowns to play around. He kind of just peeks and shoots, right? So it's kind of something kind of like this. Like, sure, there are some small ups and downs and whatnot, but it's mostly around the same, right? So this is where I'm assuming a lot of your confusion is coming in from, right? There is not a distinct tempo that gives you a warning of like, okay, when do I have to watch out for them? When do I not, right? When do I engage, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of it is just gonna be based on either your own team's tempo. So let's say in this composition, right, you're trying to play against the Baptiste, which is gonna be a character that's gonna be peeking and shooting a ton, right? It's less so gonna be about the Baptiste and it's gonna be more so about your own team. So for example, Hog, tempo, because of hook, right? Look for a hook, and then without the hook, not so useful. When your Hog is peeking and looking for a hook, you go in and do stuff. When he isn't, you probably AFK a little, right? Reset, set up.
Mhm.
Other than that, you're just gonna be looking for activity, right? So let's say that the Baptiste is a poke character, right? Is this Baptiste active or passive?
He's passive.
Can he shoot at
Wait,
you?
no. Oh no. Wait, no. He's active. I thought that was on.
Mm-hmm. No.
He's active right
Yeah,
now.
you're correct. And if, let's say, you were behind cover or he was behind cover, he would be passive, right?
Mhm.
So, in that case, the tempo, quote unquote, that you can follow for these characters, tempo becomes weird with these characters that when they're peaking, they're permanently active, right? But you could argue about them being like really fast tempo or just like them not having tempo at all. But let's just ignore the whole tempo thing and just talk about just like whether they're active or not, right? So if
Okay.
they're active, that means that they're gonna be distracted by something, right? In this case, the Baptiste is distracted by you. If you wanted to sneak strike him, right, you would want the Baptiste to be distracted by someone else. And that way you can come in from the side and then engage on him and maybe look for a pick or something, right? But that's mainly it. You're gonna be looking for activity, attention. So, Winston jump in, people look at him, right? He look at people, fairly simple. But Baptiste, he is engaged the moment that he's just peeking and shooting. And that's when you have to look at where is his attention, right? Is it on you? Is it on other people? And then you look to engage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
Okay, so I have to look for the people who are. Huh. So I have to wait for him to get distracted? Is that what this is trying to say?
Usually yes. Usually Genji likes to engage people that aren't looking at him, right? So usually the main thing that you're looking for engage in terms of your engagement timing is people turning their attention somewhere else. So let's say that you were hiding in this room. The moment that Baptiste looks that way, you go in and you shoot him. That's it.
Mm.
Doesn't matter if it's
Okay.
a Winston spending the jump to go in, or if it's a Baptiste using his long range gun and putting his eyes over here, right? It's all attention being thrown this way, right? And that dictates your timing. And the important thing
Okay.
about this, right, using this idea about attention, is that it simplifies things because it applies to every comp, right? And in a similar fashion, it might be easier to play around the tempo of a Winston, right? Because it's very, very distinct. It's very direct, right? It's in your face too, right? Like the Winston used the big cooldown, then he jumps and makes a lot of noise, right? For you to go in and follow up. But if you're playing with a Sigma, what is your timing to engage?
When they would be distracted.
Mm-hmm. When will they be distracted?
When the Sigma starts attacking along with my other teammates.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. It really is just that, right? Is your Sigma peeking and drawing attention towards himself, right? Actively fighting. The first fighting that you talked about was a perfect example. Roadhog was peeking Queen, which meant that your engagement timing was good because there was fighting happening, right? And that was a perfect example. It would be the exact same thing with the Sigma. Sigma would not be making like a big dive engagement or anything that's like very blatant in terms of timing, but there's fighting going on, attention is being spent elsewhere, which means that you are not being looked at. So yeah, this is absolutely correct.
Okay. This helps. This seriously helps for sure.
Yeah. Here, just quickly going back to the mechanics part of things, you're gonna see that this shot was much easier than others because, I mean, yes, you do miss this one, but like, if you were to compare the difficulty of hitting this shot with others, the Ana is in a predictable trajectory, your crosshair is really close, your adjustment to hit her is very small. So this is a straightforward shot to hit, right? You did a good job getting your crosshair close to her. This one, same thing, your crosshair is close to her. She is in a predictable trajectory, and heck, she doesn't even have much to move towards because there's a wall to her right. So this, very good. Simple, small flick, good accuracy. This one should take more time, right? And because of the accidental melee without shooting, now you gave yourself more time, so you hit the shots. This one, it was a bit of a bigger flick. If you had just flicked to get close, not shot, and now there is small adjustments, the Zen is dead. So you missed this shot, not so much because your mechanics are bad, but because you made your life harder than it needed to be. Here you try to do some tracking to get close, which is good, right? You're using the downtime between shots. But now, because you had to do a whole maneuver above her, right, and you had to do a whole turn with your aim, now you're a little bit confused about like where you should be. Where is your crosshair? Where is the enemy going towards? You have to do some awkward movements with your mouse, so this shot is harder. So should you take this shot fast or should you take your time?
You should take my time with it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you took your time, again, here you would have had the opportunity to finish off the Ana, right? So there are shots where you are already close, you can go, right? And oftentimes when you were close, you were hitting the shots and you were hitting them fast. But the moments that the shots start to get a little bit harder, right? Then you need to take your time. Because otherwise you're just gonna be making your life infinitely harder than it needs to be. And that's what it's gonna lead to, this inconsistency, right? You're gonna feel bad because this Ana is like 2 shots away from dying and you spend 3 shots and none of them hits, right? Because you shouldn't really be spamming. You should just like take 0.5 seconds more to aim if it means not spending 3 whole seconds missing. What up, Ben Max?
Okay.
Now, you talked about timing. I am not gonna give you bird's eye view here. So it's just gonna be from your POV. What do you think?
I will say I did look over this, and this was one of the times where I did mess up on timing. I pushed in a bit too far. And I seen the Ana, and I was like, okay, that's a target right there I can go for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yes, maybe you want to position for the Ana. Good thoughts, right? You want to position for the Ana. Now, you probably want to wait for the right trigger, right? Let's say your hog engaging, your soldier engaging, whatever it is, right? But having a target in mind so that you can position to be in range for the engagement is good. Absolutely. Now, if you do want to go early, one thing I will suggest here is that you don't engage in their face. This makes it easier for them to just blow you up while you're self-stunned from pulling out Blade. Very, very common mistake from genji players that makes them think Blade sucks when they're just pulling out Blade 1v5 and they die before they can even use their deflect. So the approach you can do is you walk climb and then you dash over. And now you're infinitely harder to hit because not only do they not see your engagement coming for a little while longer, but aiming to that is going to be harder. It's the same concept that we talked about with your aim, right? Now they have to adjust by looking up, and then after they look up and it's a big flick up, then they have to adjust, and you're moving fast, you have jukes with double jump, you're going to soon be able to deflect, so they're mind games, right? Makes it infinitely harder for you to take damage. That's something that I will often do with my own blades, right? Heck, on this map, something that I really love to do is either when I'm at defending, I'll just blade over the roof here, the moment that I see activity main, right? Or I'll, on the attack, let me move over. You can actually walk climb here. You stand on one of these. I believe you can do it on this side. I know that you can for sure do it on this one. And you go over the roof here and then you dash and then you land on top of their supports. Well, they're not expecting an engagement from there. This is really strong. This is also really strong even without Blade because this gets you to the high ground unnoticed. You completely bypass the choke. So this is just a really, really nice rollout to know. You can see, very scary to make that engagement. You just barely lived. If that Baptiste was faster, he would have just used lamp on the Ana and you just feed for no reason. Whereas if you go a little bit later, either your team capitalizes on your big distraction or your team distracts them so that you can guarantee a kill or two with Blade. Rather than it being a gamble on whether or not the Baptiste will turn in time, right? Because realistically, the Baptiste is just true. I don't know what he's doing not throwing lamp immediately, but he's throwing. Now, this is something that I've been looking at in your gameplay for a bit, that I think would be very important for you to pay attention to, which is your dash usage. Here, especially now that you don't have your deflect. Heck, you are half HP here too, right? You're not getting close to any escape paths, right? Like your closest escape is here, which is really far into a tracer that can easily chase you, right? So holding this position, sure, you shoot from close range, and you use your dash to enable this positioning because you always can dash out, right? Committing the dash here for damage is a little bit awkward. And this is something that I've been noticing from you. You're like very eager to use your dash early in duels like this. And it's not that you can't use dash in duels, you just have to know when it's a good risk to take. When it's kind of worth to commit the dash for the damage, for the juke in the duel, right? Forcing them to do a 180. Because here, it's not really worth it. It's a 1v2, you're down your deflect at half HP. These two DPS have their cooldowns. You should have died here. And then I believe... No, right. So, timing. When should you engage here? And I'm gonna pause.
I feel as though I should art.
When should you engage?
Very soon.
Mm-hmm. Now?
I would say around, yeah. Everyone's looking at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yet your hog is just getting destroyed on front line and you're still just here doing nothing, right? But that's a problem. So that means that you kind of missed your opportunity to use his big distraction, and he got destroyed harder than he should have because you did not pull some resources towards you. This is a good dash to use. That's a fine one too. Sure, that's a good dash. That's a fine dash. Now, the timing here is a little bit awkward. So if you want, you can work on your timing. You can smooth that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, you are very aware of like where you should be positioning, what timing you want to go in, right? So you can work on like perfecting those, or you can just work on this idea about like your dash usage, basically judging it like I have been doing, right? Just like good, bad, right? And then like maybe you add a few notes here and there to like learn from it, right? Just get your experience from doing it over and over, and then just like work on this new topic instead, right? It's up to you, really.
For me, it's just I see small problems. I don't really see the big overview. So it's like how certain people have like let's say their positioning is bad and you know it's bad. That is a big problem. But let's say their positioning is good, but they do something wrong with it. And then that's like a small problem, but I don't see it as that. I'm trying to figure out the big problem in all of this. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Then I do know what the big problem is. You're trying to force something into existence. You don't necessarily have to have a big problem. You can have a lot of small problems that are what cause you to be in this rank rather than others. Or heck, here's a hot take. You could have no problems at all. It could literally just be the difference between you having played less time than others, right? A lot of the difference between the ranks is more than anything just playtime. I have practiced this game much more than basically every other Genji player in the world, which is why I'm one of the best Genji players in the world, right? Like, a lot of this stuff about like problems and skill, all of it is just like, I understand it, but it's also all a matter of perspective, right? Because if you're satisfied with where you're at, right, then is it a problem to be at the skill level that you're at, right? Not really. If you're trying to push, then maybe yes, it is a problem, and then you should look at addressing those problems, right? Getting more skillful at the abilities. But in that sense, you don't always have like a big topic to work on. It can be a collection of small things. Or it can simply be that you haven't played enough to accumulate enough skill to go to the next rank, right? In your case, I think that right now, a lot of your dashes have been fine, but also there are some really scary dashes that you have done that are like very low value and extremely high risk, and they're probably causing you to die a lot in the matches. That's probably something that is very valuable to address, but other than that, it really is just about playing more, refining your skill set over time, and then just keep finding things that either you think that you need to fix or that you're interested in working at. It doesn't always have to be through this lens of like fixing stuff. Heck, always looking for something to fix can also just be like a very negative mindset, because it always puts you in like a mentality of I suck, right? I'm terrible at the game. No, absolutely not. Sometimes you should just do things because you want to get better at something. You're intrinsically motivated, right? This concept makes me enjoy the game more, right? Like if I aimed better, I would enjoy the game more. If I understood how to time my engagement better, I would enjoy the game more, etc. Right? I'm just interested in learning about this concept, right? That kind of stuff is also just like incredibly valid. I've recently been really interested in mechanics, so I've just been working on mechanics, and that's about it. I don't care if it's optimal or not. I'm interested in it, so I'm working on it. That's it. I'll find that. Sure. Do you have anything else that you would like to quickly ask about this whole VOD before I move on to BandMax?
Just an overview of what was all the small problems. So it was dashes, timing, and was it just those two?
Yeah. I'm mostly fine with the positioning. That's fine.
And the positioning. So the positioning was good. The timing could be a bit better, and the dash usage. You should.
Yeah.
And aiming.
Yeah, you can work on the aim. It's more so something that you brought up, right? Like, hey, I have been transitioning from console to PC, right? So I don't feel as comfortable. I want to improve my mechanics. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of tips for how to improve your aim, right? And you can go and choose to improve your aim, or you can go and choose to improve your dash or your timing. Or you can just throw all of these in the dumpster and just look at something else, right? Heck, look at your blades if you want to have fun with that, right? You can do whatever. But yeah, in terms of like what we talked about in the VOD, it's those three. Those are the three things. Really.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let me move you back to the audience for now. Hello.
Greetings.
I noticed that you say greetings wrong. It's greetings.
Ah, yes, of course, of course. Anyways, I haven't been playing a lot, but I managed to get a few games in before my mouse completely died.
The battery wise, or do you need a new
Like
one?
like my left click does not work anymore. If I press too hard, it just stops working.
Ah,
It means I can only play
so
semi-auto heroes.
so basically you got your genji buffed because now you don't spend your
Yeah.
time left clicking.
Basically, yeah. I now have to like blade with while holding like pressing right click instead of left, which is annoying to say the least, a little bit.
I actually, funny fact about this, I actually noticed that this change that they added sometimes actually screws you over, especially on high latency, because sometimes you're expecting to not be able to get a new swing off, so you do, let's say, a swing dash right click, right? You're trying to just get a quick burst of damage on someone. But then instead of getting a right click off, you get a swing off because for some reason you still had like 0.1 seconds left of blade. And right click now makes you swing your blade.
Yeah.
So now the animation is showing that you're sheathing, but you're swinging your sword. And then the enemy character is not really taking damage. So it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But yeah, this is something that like rarely happens, but I didn't think that the change could have any negative impact, but I guess that sometimes it can. It's just like a very specific setup.
Mm-hmm. Anyways,
For battle.
we did end up winning this game, but
Mission begin.
I had a lot of trouble in the first round, I would say.
So
Mm-hmm.
one.
So any insight would be appreciated.
Do you know how to narrow it down? Like, do you have like a clue of like what was causing the issues?
Uh, I s- I don't remember this game all that well. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. I'm mainly
But
just wondering
I
if you have done like a little bit of self-reviewing here, just trying to figure it out. Like, it's fine if you haven't been able to figure it out, right? But it's always like a good exercise to just try and think about like what you believe to be the issue. A lot of times, just like talking through something, either to yourself or with someone else, right, can help you spot something that you did wrong about like a specific thing that you were trying to create, or something that you did wrong on playing or whatever, right?
All right. From what I remember, I had a very hard time doing any damage to enemies or even getting close to them. And even in the situations where I did get close to the enemy, I didn't push the advantage, so
Now you're doomed first fight, so that's rough.
yeah. Twice.
Although actually, let me look at this, because it might be insightful for you. I understand what he was going for, but I mean, I think that would have punched off, but at the same time, a part of me is just like, this is not really Doom's range. Like,
It was also extremely greedy to go for a slam punch using both of your mobility cooldowns.
yeah, but like to me, like the biggest issue, and this is something that like might seem basic, but it's something that like even like the highest ranks get this wrong oftentimes, which is just like, where does Doom want to play? Where does Genji want to play in this map? Because there are a lot of areas that have different that are better for different ranges, right? Because obviously they have better poke than you guys. So what do you do about it? Sure, you want to close the gap. How do you close the gap? Because there are different approaches to close the gap, and I'm essentially trying to get you to figure out which one should you take here.
Well, if we want to, let's say I want to reach them when they get on the stairs
Mm-hmm.
on their side, I could play behind that wall corner on the point, like right there. I could play next to the elephant,
Mm-hmm.
like on our side.
Yeah.
That's about, or I could go for a really deep flank, but then Echo will just eat me alive. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's always some scary stuff here because they can just poke you out, right? They can just take a step back, utilize their range. You can't really reach them there because too far you're gonna die, right? You're gonna overextend. You're not gonna get enough for resources even if you live. And then after that, they just get all the space in the world. So here,
yep.
I don't think that going at them is the correct approach. So how else?
Are you letting them come to me?
Yes. So what should this Doom be doing instead of pushing out?
Just chilling on point.
Yeah. Here and here. And that's it, right? You just put Doom and Genji each in one of these axes. That's it. How does Sigma walk in? How does Sojourn get a Cyclone on any of you?
They don't. We just pray that our Sojourn doesn't die immediately.
Yeah. So your Sojourn is gonna be looking for cover, probably looking to out-rotate them, not take a direct fight or anything like that, avoiding their effective range. And they will struggle to push into you, but you will struggle to push into them, but they will struggle to push into you. But you have point possession, right? And the most important part here is that you're gonna be playing your effective ranges with your characters, right? It's very easy to fall into this trap of like, oh, I'm playing Genji, I must dive the hit scan, right? But what if the hit scan is playing so far back that you can't reach them? At that point, you already got the value because they cannot shoot anything meaningful, right?
Point taken.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, in this case, this is very interesting. It's just you put you guys in the corner and you just AFK. If they don't come touch points, you continue AFKing. You don't even peek really, because if you peek, you take damage. You enable them to look for picks, right? Echo to fly in with beam and stuff like that. So if we go to your POV here,
I mean, I went here. I was ready.
yeah. But yeah, here, if I'm nitpicking, this peak you cannot do. You're losing HP that you cannot afford to lose right now. You need this HP to be scary enough that they can't push. If you lose too much of your HP, they know that you cannot stay here. So they will just push you out and take this position away from you. And now you're sad. Right?
Yeah, but at this point, I gave up because, you know, we're missing a tank.
Yeah.
Like, I can't hold against the Sigma, not since the damage buff.
I agree.
Terrifying.
Yeah. And in that case, heck, I would argue, don't even do that. Either immediately look for an engagement trade or just get out, right? Don't do this approach where it seems like you're trying to look for something in a situation where the longer this drags out, the more you're gonna lose, right? Because at this range, they're just gonna be beating you more and more, right? This is a situation where you have to, no hesitation, choose one of these two approaches. Stay in the middle is the worst option.
I think I was looking for engagement, but yes, I hesitated.
Mm-hmm. And this is, like, I feel like a common Genji mistake. Very, very common Genji mistake of like, because like the poke is important, but I think that like one of the main things that we're not used to doing very well is only really poking when either we can actually poke positively or I guess no. It's always poking positively. It's just like, how do we achieve this positive trade? Is it because we're playing outside their effective range, right? Because we don't have fall off. So Cassidy, for example, at 30 meters away, right? We can trade with that. Or we're shooting from a range where they can easily beat us, but they're not looking at us, right? So in this case, you can peek over this wall if your Doom is peeking with punch here, or yeah, with punch, with block or something, drawing the aggro in. Then you pick and shoot, and then you look for an opportunity. Otherwise, you AFK. Right? Just very important detail here, because this HP is very important for them to not be able to push you. Yeah, like even here, right? Like I understand the situation is a little bit awkward, like your team is feeling and whatnot, but also, are you positioning as well as you should? Like, could you not have threatened a kill on these players?
Probably. I just hesitated. We were also down like 2 players.
Like here,
I don't know.
I think maybe you were trying to roll out over the roof and then you saw the echo, so you had to respond visually, right? To get ready for deflect, or if you landed good damage to look for a kill. But then here, yeah, you just deflect out there in a bad range, so that makes sense. But also, if you want, you can just not even open yourself to these possibilities. Because the moment that you are in the open like here, it's very likely that Echo is just gonna have an advantage over you, that Sojourn is gonna have an advantage over you, right? So either you just hug this corner, or you just play inside here in areas that if they peek, they will be in a losing trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. In a way, you just have to think about, you have to think like a character, exactly like I was memeing before about like you losing your left click being actually a secret buff, right? Being a character like Junkrat, like Reinhardt or whatnot, they're so on the extremes that they cannot afford yeah, that they cannot really afford to just like play around these bad ranges. Like you oftentimes get baited on Genji, because if you're just like very mechanically good, you will hit those shots and enable the dash in for a combo.
Let's attack the objective.
So yeah,
I hold the objective.
not bad, but
Here now.
I will nitpick this. Why take this risk? If the Echo is properly
fair
watching you, you lose a cooldown. Just go inside. And there you go, right? The discipline here of like not pushing out, just like staying around the point, which is where you can fight right now, and then the Sigma just walks off because you cannot contest it. What about this fight? You close the gap on the Echo, you try to fight her where you have an advantage. She flies away. I don't blame you for committing this dash. I think this is just mechanics.
I mean, like
Yeah.
in theory, I should have been safe.
Yeah.
But Sigma walked up.
Yeah. No, this was just mechanics. Like, realistically, should have killed her faster. Like, you got close enough, but the moment that she was flying in and making it a little bit awkward, you could still chase with dash and be in good range. So yeah, no, this is completely fine. It's not a situation where the moment she flies, you just cowardly dash back into points. No, you earned this duel. Yeah, right. We already know.
Yeah.
The moment that we see this frame that you're losing, you don't even need to see the shots. This character, right, is just worse than that character at this range. It's simple, right?
Fair enough.
Right. Like if anything, if not for like thinking about maybe Genji's effective range, right? And how we oftentimes get baited because we have a long range tool, except that isn't that effective, right? If anything, this is just like ego, like thinking that you can out aim the Echo, right? Sometimes I notice that I myself do this, right? Like this is just like me believing I can hit these shots, and sure I can hit these shots, but the Echo also can hit these shots, and the Echo can do more damage to me at this range, right? So this is just ego.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Got you. This ends.
And now I'm out of the fight and it's actually happening.
Fight's always gonna be hard, because of their positioning advantage. But you all had the out economy to like layer the fight, so yeah. You literally get Ajaxed. That sucks. And you can see, right, how awkward it feels. Like this,
It's go time.
you already got insane value just by going into points. Sure, your Doom trolled you by doing this punch, but like this Juno is low HP. She can't even really fight back all too well with her weapon. But arguably, heck, the Juno has a hit scan weapon against you here, and you have some slow ass projectiles, so she's just gonna do more damage than you here. It's just how it is.
Yep.
I don't know why my PC is just like shitting the bed. Hopefully the recording isn't gonna get corrupted or something. But yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't blade once
Yeah. You didn't
that
farm
entire
your,
time.
You didn't farm your first perk, unfortunately.
Focus, and we might get out alive.
But yeah. You're talking about the first round being the biggest struggle. So
Yeah,
you can contrast it with this.
it's just so open.
So
Here, there's just
yeah. I'm gonna let you
I
think
can
about
really
this.
abuse this enclosed area against Echo.
So should you stay here and poke? Or should you do something else?
Realistically, I should be moving further up,
Yeah. I think so too.
which I do eventually.
This is
after
not
just checking where everyone is.
This is not terrible, but also here's the big thing. Like even if you can land literally free damage because nobody can look at you, and you're just shooting this thing on the side bypassing the shield, it's very meaningless damage. Very meaningless damage. If your intention is to shoot the Sigma, where should you be?
Right behind my Doom,
No.
or I mean behind him.
If you were somewhere like here, like anywhere in this area, you're just getting
He's
poked
just gonna
out.
shield it off.
You're just getting poked out. You become an extra victim, essentially, of their spam. So you would actually, I would rather not have you if you're gonna be here, right? Because here you're taking more damage that you're dealing. So
I could go around the outside where the Mega is.
yeah. Is it hard to push you? If the Sigma pushes you, you can hold your ground or force a good trade, like you force the rock, you dash out, etc. This is a good angle. If you wanna pressure the Sigma, you do it from there. Otherwise, you just either do this or I don't know, just full wrap. Those are the options. I don't think you ever play here to just poke and then maybe go point, because the point is open here. You're not gonna get the first point against these players. Not while your team has not earned the space, right? Like your Doom is not here zoning off their backline. And at that point, you already kind of have superior setups than enemy team. But to get to that point, you need to be in better position, right? Get better trades than the enemy team. And now you're gonna get better trades than the enemy team by doing this. You know?
Anyways, I did not end up poking here. Like I shot like 2 shots and
Yeah. And that's good, right? Like, crazy idea, right? The Genji closed the gap, so he did stuff. But really, we often get in our own heads. We often really do. Just like for some reason, like, okay, Genji gets nerfed, we start to doubt ourselves or whatever, right? We find a matchup that we're not familiar with. But really, whenever you're overthinking, the best thing to do, look back at the basics, just do the basics well. Because it really is just that, right? What range do I want to play? Okay, find the angle at that range that I want to be at, and find the timing. That's it. That's it.
Disrupting. I'm with you, Genji.
Yep, this is good.
I am peeking 3 people, aren't I?
Yeah. This is where I am trying to think about this. Because in one hand, I don't hate the idea of like peeking and not going for a kill. Heck, losing my setup because I'm gonna be trading my cooldowns aggressively here. If I'm doing the distraction role so that my team can, let's say, just run down this Sigma. I just have to make sure that the timing is good, right? Because otherwise I'm just passively holding this position. Waiting for them to walk into me. But yeah, I don't think that this idea is inherently bad.
Disruption activate.
And we see right there the Sigma ended up getting actually disconnected. So he was 1 HP by the time that you were looking back. Because people were looking at you. I just need to make sure that that is intentional, right?
I believe at the time it was.
Which is good, right?
Electric time.
Nice.
Untouchable.
Alright. Next round is longer.
Now I believe this was a little bit more difficult for me.
So I want you to think here about your approach. I'm not gonna actually, yes. Let's not use the bird's eye view here. Let's just evaluate from your POV here what you see. So, positioning. What do you think?
I don't know, like in my experience on this map, Doomfist will usually reach the enemy doorway before they reach ours.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we'd be able to stop them. It did not happen. So
So now what?
this entire left side of the map kind of sucks. So I should really be on the right enclosed area. Around the point.
I mean, somewhere like here?
Maybe on the high ground around point. Just not there where I am currently.
I don't hate this because I think that this is a fine angle to like spam the Sigma and kind of prevents the Sojourn from knocking here. Like I think that right now this makes infinitely more sense on, let's say, the Nepal angle. I think here you might be thinking about the similarities, and there are similarities, but there are enough differences where I think that this actually has a good reason, whereas before it didn't. Right? Because this high ground can be accessed by their Soj, whereas the other one can't. I also think that like this is a cheeky little rotation that you can use. I also think that there is some potential for point, although here this point is much worse because it completely offers up the high ground to the enemy team, and then we know what happens when people often bunker and point here and just let the enemy team just round on the high grounds. Like you just get collapsed on. The only comps that really work to do that kind of stuff with are the comps that have enough sustain and usually a May wall, right, to like isolate people that touch or whatever. This comp doesn't feel like one of those. So I think that your positioning here is fine. And you can react accordingly.
I just didn't hit Sojourn go up there.
This dash is silly. Really silly.
Yeah.
Here, you should already be mindful the moment that your team is just like all getting choked out here, that maybe you need to give space or preserve your resources if you don't want to lose this space. A little bit of tunnel vision on the Sigma. It's more important for you to pay attention to this high ground than the Sigma. I would have made the mistake of looking at the Sigma. But I do think that the correct approach there is to actually look at this high ground. Because you're using this high ground not to poke, or you're taking this position not to poke out the Sigma, but to control this away from the Sojourn primarily, right? This is what we discussed. So now you gave that high ground because you were not there ready. So you immediately lost deflect rather than trying and engage at full HP. Now that's good. And yeah. What happened? Let me go back. Yeah, that was just a little bit unfortunate.
Hello. This is our objective now. I am on the objective. Report here now.
Now, do you think that this angle is good or not?
I mean, where else do I go?
Sure. So how about the way that you're handling this?
I am being very careful. I have a mega health pack. She doesn't.
There are two things to note here. One is the fact that you AFK'd main for a bit, so now your team is already on point and you're not set up. But
I thought it was from my POV. I was waiting for everyone to respawn.
Yeah.
I did not notice Doomfist got on point so fast.
And I understand, and also there's like the fact that you have to be a little bit mindful of rotating early because then the enemy team can send a lot of resources your way. But the thing about this flank is that it takes a while, right?
Yeah.
So I usually have to start the flank early compared to your team. Now, I do think that like this whole area is important for you to use. This is probably your best approach, unless you just find an opportunity to either rotate from kitchen and dash to like the cover, or from main to dash into a position like there, right on the high ground using that cover. But I think that here the problem is that you're trying to fight the echo at a bad range. How can you avoid the echo or force a good fight?
I could double jump and use wall climb to like go under this wooden platform.
Yes.
So she can't really see me.
What's the other option?
Don't go here if
No.
she's still here.
There's another path here.
Is there now?
Yes. It's a path that never gets used, basically, which is why your brain is ignoring it.
I don't see it.
It's close to the middle
Is
of
it the
the
one to
screen.
my left?
Yes. What's the echo gonna do here to fight you?
Not much.
Yeah. And then from here, you probably dash to the high ground at a good moment, right? Timing wise. And then boom. Now you're stayed close to point. So I don't know about the quality of this or the quality of this, but I know that I would rather try one of those than take this trade, if possible.
Fair enough. I will try that in my games.
You see how awkward it is. You landed a single shuriken on her and she forces you to take mega. It sucks. You did find your opportunity to slip through, which is great.
And then she also slipped through.
Yeah. Now you're in your range, so now you can do stuff, which is nice.
My ultimate is almost ready.
This end.
And then here...
My ultimate is almost ready.
That should be a short dash, but I missed.
It's not just that.
My ultimate is almost ready.
It's also like... I understand the attempt to kill. Like, you see the kill, you want to go for the kill, right? Especially because like a lot of this matchup is just like very low dopamine. It's just waiting, waiting. Take the close range flank. Or hide in this corner. But like here, like you need to stay calm. Because this is not a shot that you should ever be missing. Either in terms of like short dash or in terms of like the flick. Like this flick to hit your shurikens, which would kill. Like this shot should never happen, right?
I missed horribly, yes.
Yeah. And this is something that I also sometimes do. Something that really helped me though, in terms of this stuff, these shows, I've noticed that I do a lot less of them after playing Kovacs. And it doesn't have to be Kovacs, it just like any sort of aim practice works, although I do think that Kovacs is the best form of aim practice, right? But mainly something that gives you confidence, as well as something that teaches you the fundamentals. So like here, like being calm, like one of the main reasons why people aren't gonna be calm to just like wait a little bit longer to like realize that this Juno has nowhere to juke you, so you will always kill her. So you don't have to rush your shots. You can just calmly aim towards her and then dash. Is to actually practice that deliberately in a training environment. Because in the moment, you might know that you should stay calm, but because you haven't practiced it, you don't trust it. This is the main thing about the Kovacs, from my personal experience. Because I have, in this environment, forced myself to apply the techniques, right, on all these different scenarios that require me to be disciplined with hitting the shots rather than trying to maximize speed, right? Because the scenarios heavily punish not reading target movement, right, not taking the time that I need to hit the shots. That gives me confidence to actually properly hit these. Right?
I'm with you.
This ends now.
I feel all warm inside.
And I deflected air.
Adaptive.
Yeah, that's a
With
habit.
no one looking at me.
This ends now.
I feel all warm
You just
inside.
get antsy, or I guess antsy is not the perfect term, but it works here, I think. Where it's just like they are
panicked.
gonna look back at me, right? They're gonna look back at me. I have been shooting so much.
Surely they're gonna shoot me. Kiriko's gonna 120 headshot me. Juno's gonna hit all headshots, and I'm gonna die instantly.
That's something that I need to
Surely.
get better at. And that is not a perfect example of something else that I was looking at earlier, like literally right before this. I was watching a video on this, but like you need to be willing to just like to a certain extent look like a fool. If it happens, but it's just like this. In this case, you're trying to play around a very low percent, right? Like you need to hold your deflect. If the Kiriko somehow just like flicks and headshots you, and at the same time the Juno is shooting you, right? First of all, you probably still live in the situation, right? But even assuming it was like an actual DPS character that had more burst, right? It's still like the preemptive deflect is not gonna get you anywhere in the duel, right? Like it's almost as if you're so afraid of the potential lose con, right? Even if it's a low percent, that you're not even playing to win the duel. You're just playing not to lose, and playing not to lose will inevitably get you to lose, right? Because you're not confident in the duel, right? Like you should be confident here chasing these players, and then you just deflect once you really need to, right?
Adaptive.
Like in a way, like I think about this a lot against Cassidy's and why I struggle versus Cassidy, which is just that I'm so scared of the Cassidy because I know his potential burst damage that I expect him to always hit the headshots, right? So I'm always deflecting so early, and then after that the Cassidy doesn't really have to be scared of me. So I need to play the duels with more confidence. I need to be in their face. I need to usually not deflect early because the deflect early usually never gets a hinder deflect or anything meaningful. So I need to just go in their face, shoot, maybe even dash early or something. And then after that, use the deflect tactically and not be scared, like just take the duel confidently. And if it goes poorly, then sure, he out-aimed me or I just sucked, right? But yeah. Like there are a lot more things to take away from this than this little moment than it might seem at first, right? Because it's just about like, sure, you just waste your deflect, but why did you waste your deflect here, right? Let's dig deep, right? I'm talking from my experiences. I don't know if they match yours, right? But it's something that I would recommend reflecting upon.
Yeah, I currently still have PTSD from the game before this, where I was blading, I was full HP, I was chasing a Reaper that just TP'd with his, really fast major perk. Kiriko and Reaper are 1 HP. and they kill me instantly as soon as Reaper comes out of Wraith or his TP.
Yeah. That's not something you
Like,
play
is-
around, really.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna swing on both of them. Both of them are gonna die. I'm dead.
Yeah.
It's it was an experience.
And you can see here, right? Like the Kiriko hit shots on you, and what happened? You lived, even though deflate, right?
Shouldn't have put your head there.
A lot of Overwatch is mental.
Be careful.
Yep.
If we got to perform at our best all the time, like we would all be infinitely better. So in a way, like your biggest enemy is yourself.
Yep.
You rank up or down based on how little you are hindering yourself, not how well your opponents are doing.
Reverse the tide.
You have to defend the point.
Defend the objective.
I feel a war inside.
次は誰が相手だ
Over here.
I am restored.
This ends now.
Don't let them take the point.
Now range.
I should not be there.
Over here.
There's something that I oftentimes lean towards this, right? I oftentimes lean towards this area right here, but I've noticed that it sucks. They just rotate for free, and
Yeah.
I can't really dash backline. I mean, sometimes you can, but even then, I feel like if you have to dash backline here, like you could do something better, right? Now, do you hold this area because you're expecting to do this rollout? Like, do you know about this? You stand above here, you walk, climb, you double jump, and then you can land behind them.
I have never done that before.
Sometimes I do that. And this is one of the reasons to go here. But here's the problem. It's blind. So you're just listening to footsteps. So at times you will go at the wrong time. So now you just dash out and you're useless. And they just walk in for free. And the other times, what did this do compared to just sitting in this room?
Being a little rat.
Like, you just do the same here, except without like the gambling part of this rollout. Or what about if you're scared of them rotating here, just sit on this high ground and just get ready to hit the backline here, which we already know that is good because you have done this before. There's something that I need to do more on my own. I need to look at the way that I play maps and look at the positions that I've started to default to that are not good. Because sometimes we just default to positions, we're just used to playing them, and they make absolutely zero sense, and we need to break that habit.
This ends now.
Don't let them take the point.
Like now they're dropping in point, our Doom is fighting for his life, trying to contest and everything, look for kills, and we cannot participate, unfortunately, right? So it's like, what could I have done, right? It really feels like that, like, what could I have done? My team sucks. I did everything I could. Yes, you did everything you could for the situation. You should not have been in that situation. Yeah. I don't know how the team wins.
Soldier didn't get healed, so Doom Slam killed her, and Soldier got a pick somehow.
Point somehow doesn't flip either. And you're in the room now. And now you're actually forced to
Yes.
save resources anyway. And now here's the thing. Let's actually look at this in normal speed. And I want you to tell me what you think about this, what happens here.
I believe I gave away my position early.
Engaged. Genji, let the Kitsune guide you.
So?
What was the question?
What do you think of this?
I was told as a tip in my whispers that Echo has Poppy. So I thought maybe I could try to force it early by being in that room.
Mm-hmm.
I did, but at what cost?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. This is fine. Look at what your team
Yeah,
is doing. Someone
Yeah,
is gonna
they
get
won.
hate crimes by Echo.
Yeah,
With votes.
yeah.
Someone has to get hate crimes. This time it was you.
Yes.
So I wouldn't overthink this like my supports suck or anything like that.
Oh, I'm not blaming my supports.
yeah.
There's no saving me there.
Yeah, exactly. I just know that sometimes I would get into the mentality of like, why didn't my Kiriko help me? Like, I lived for so long. Like, if I just get a little bit of healing, I can fight the Echo. Okay.
But at the same time, I could have probably just chilled and tried to build Blade.
Yeah, exactly. I think that here, playing for the Blade is very important, especially because you have the Thanos perk. So you should just Thanos all over the lobby.
I'm gonna be honest. At the time, I was not looking at my ultimate charge. I did not realize I almost had it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Anyways,
I think it's just important to have like the situation, to realize in the situation that it's fine for you to die. Like breaking away from the mentality of like I need to live, like every engagement needs to be 100% certain and stuff like that. And like no, this is not how Overwatch works. Sometimes the enemy team just really wants to kill you, or really wants to counter you. That's just how it is. Focus on the basics. Are you doing the basics right? Great. Okay, that's it. You played your range. You drew the resources. That's all you could do. Now I hope your team does well too on the basics and does the basics better than the enemy team, and then they win.
I've also noticed that on Vendetta, that even if I engage at the correct time, I still get hate crimes sometimes with my 3 solo ultimates.
Vendetta is weird. I don't like playing Vendetta. I really hate characters that just feel like they win because they have more stats rather than skill. So I just hate Venture, I hate Vendetta. I want to make a whole video on like if they're gonna nerf Genji because it was too easy to land juicy right clicks before, then they should nerf Venture because Venture requires less skills and gets more pressure than Genji. Like it does, like the double standard.
Everything.
The double standard doesn't make sense, right? If you're gonna nerf Genji's lethality, you have to also nerf Venture's lethality, right?
Or defense,
Yeah,
going
or
to 10
something.
seconds, Burrow going to 10 seconds. That should be fair.
Something. But I think that it doesn't even have to go there, right? I think like just drawing the comparison between Genji and Venture lethality on the weapons, right? And looking at Genji getting his weapon nerfed and Venture not getting it. So now Genji has 46% win rates in GM champ and Venture has 53%, despite one being clearly a higher skill than the other, right? Like that's what I'm.
To be fair, Sim is really good right now, and Venture's good at the Sim.
It's. I don't think that is the main thing.
It's something.
It plays a part, like a lot of the meta plays into it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I even think that like in a vacuum, like across multiple metas, Venture has just been sleeper good. And it's just something that like if you're gonna nerf Genji, you have to also nerf Venture. If anything, you need to nerf Venture harsher. Venture is not a character that outside of like giving some meta relevancy every now and then just to rotate things in and out, should just like be default better than Genji, because it's just a more cancerous character, less skill, more annoying. This is my take, and I think that this is a take that a lot of people would agree with.
It is not fun to have a character that could stall, point, and be immortal for 30% of the game.
Yeah, it's not just
anyways
that.
I shall.
But yeah, I'm not gonna argue about this. I know we're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't want to take up any more of your time, even though I appreciate it.
Nah, don't worry. But yeah, Let me finish the recording here real quick.